What's up, guys? Mischief Magus here. It's been about 2 weeks since I last made a video. Sorry. I've been kind of busy lately with work and some other stuff. Also, I've been recovering from a very nasty sinus infection or cold. I haven't been able to figure out what it is yet. But I think I'm about 95% better. So this video, one of my viewers and subscribers, thank you by the way, recommended that I do a video on, how I got into this. How did I get into devotional, planetary, astrological, talismanic magic? I'm sure some people, if you're normal, you'll be sitting up in the sky one night and thinking, wow, I'm so small. What is all this? I mean, you could do it a whole bunch of different ways. But how I did it, I didn't mean to. I mean, it's not like I had a definite path. But my mom, I'd say about 14 years ago, gave me my birth chart, and I was like, this is cool, I guess. So I did what everyone else did, and I was hoping, is there anything that shows me that I'm special or something? Because everybody wants to be special, and nobody really is. I looked at it, and I was like, this is fine, this is cool. Obviously, I didn't know what I was looking at, so I kept on digging and asking questions. I guess my mom's chiropractor at the time, he knew a little bit about it. And, I asked him. I think his name was Jonathan something. He was an alright guy. I can't say anything bad about him. I don't really remember him very well. But I remember calling him at the weirdest hours, like asking him questions. That's kind of how I started. It kind of opened Pandora's box, basically. My mom gave me my birth chart, and I was like, what is this? And then I go into college, and that's like pretty much what I took with me. Like, I was at college, and I was just like, I didn't like it. I didn't know why I was there. A lot of people had a purpose in going to school. Oh, I want to be an engineer. Oh, I want to be an accountant. Oh, I want to be a doctor or something. And I was just there, like, I felt like I was waiting for, some stroke of inspiration to hit. I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do in college. Honestly, and especially in today's day and age, guys, I don't recommend it unless you really know what you want to do. I mean, college is... I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, that's how I felt, and I still feel that way. But the one thing that I could never stop thinking about was astrology. Why? What does this mean? And of course, I still remember, when everyone else was... This is just actually quite embarrassing to say. I remember, it would be Saturday or something. It's only happened a handful of times. It would be Saturday, and it would be snowing. It would be snow on the ground. Everyone would be coming back from parties. And that must have been, sophomore year or something. And most people were out partying, having sex and, all this other fun stuff that you do at college. Meanwhile, I was the schmuck calling my mom's chiropractor, what does this mean? And I must have bothered the hell out of that poor guy so much. I remember one time, I think I called him 3 or 4 times in a day. And in the evening, I called the phone and I was like, hey Jonathan, it's me. Before he answered, he was like, hello? So I was like, hey, it's me. And I'll never forget this, and I hate it. He was like, oh. I was worse than a telemarketer for calling. I must have pissed this guy off something fierce. But I had questions, and I didn't know where to look. What was I gonna do? Ask my friends? No, astrology is bullshit, and you're stupid for thinking it's real. So what did I do? I went on forums. That's what was interesting to me, but I didn't know anything. I knew nothing. Well, eventually I go on a forum, and I start talking with a person who's much older than I am, and someone who's about my age, and they seemed pretty good at this stuff, and they talked about traditional astrology. And I was like, well, what the hell is that? And so they explained to me about the 7 classical planets, and you don't worry about the outer planets. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And it just kind of went from there. I still talk to the older friend today. She's probably one of, if not my most best friend. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could say fortune would have it or something about, meeting people at certain times on certain places regarding certain topics. And she's just helped me out a tremendous amount. She's the one who suggested talismanic magic. Of course, that was about 9 years ago. And had I done it a little bit earlier, I probably would have been supremely farther along. But probably not, because, I mean, I looked at astrology in a way where I was just like, I can't stand myself. I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. But then again, I didn't really know what I was talking about. And I still mostly don't, because it's a very complicated subject. And you have to do a lot of toilsome reading, and it's a lot to take. Like when you study, like you actually have to study for this stuff. But it's worth it. And I say it's worth it because for a long time, I also, when I was at school, I was like looking for some kind of not religious, like spiritual beliefs. I didn't know what they were. And a lot of the things that I was hearing didn't make sense to me. That goes along with, masculine and feminine energies and God and everything else. And it was, that was what, at the time, that was what was a big deal to me. I know myself enough to know that me and university do not mix. And that's for a number of reasons, but I didn't really get anything from it. But when I was at school, that's what I was obsessed with. Not my studies for my job that provides money to me to live. It was so strange. I mean, you know how sometimes you do stuff and you can't help it? Well, that's what I did back in college, and it's ridiculous. I mean, truly, I should have been, but I couldn't stop. But the reason I like this so much is because it's given me all of that. I mean, it's given me a solid, background and fortitude and perspective on how the world works and how people work and how things work. And I'm happy with it. And I think that it's probably one of the more credible, true, and reasonable foundations that you could give yourself. And that's why I like it so much. If you see me on Reddit and I'm like harping on someone, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, because there's a way how to do it. I try to be, I don't want to say unyielding, but like, oh, now you can put it, like, you can't, I don't know, you can't make up your own meanings about stuff with this stuff, guys. Like, there's a concrete way to do it. And like, I didn't toil through this for 10 years and finally figure that I'm content with what I know to just bend and break for different stuff. Like, I'm not going to do that. And I hope you also won't either. There are ways to do things and there are ways to not do things. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at now, and that's why I'm doing these videos. I like this. I used to think that I'd never make a YouTube channel, and I didn't know what to do it on either. What am I going to do? Look at a camera and like dance around in clown shoes and entertain people while they clap and like watch a monkey dance? Nah. I mean, I wish I could do that. I would do that every day if I could get millions of viewers. Absolutely. But I can't. And I won't. So, this is something that genuinely is interesting to me. It is a hobby, it is a philosophy, and it's a part of me. And I'm very proud of it. A lot of people who may be new to this, which I'm sure if you're watching, and you're probably watching with an open mind, there are a lot of people in the world that are under the delusion that the idea of astrology is dumb, gay, and just incorrect. And I don't know why. Like, people think like, oh, this is just wrong. And I mean, truthfully, I really couldn't disagree more. I mean, yes, it seems a little far-fetched, but when you read enough, you realize, wow, how can you think that you know everything about how the world works. I mean, I certainly don't, and I try not to be an arrogant person. I'm sure I come off as arrogant, but really I get kind of fanatic about this stuff because, like I said, I mean, I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, like, rummaging through this stuff. And my friend, and I know you're watching now, thank you, by the way, has helped me really, really patiently understand that there are good things and there are bad things. And I was lucky enough to find someone to help me. I know a lot of people out there do not have that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this, because you're going to find stuff just like I did on the forum that I mentioned. You're going to find people making fun of you and telling you, no, this is right. This is what I'm doing is right with these incorrect outer planets and Black Moon Lilith and Ceres and Chiron, which are all bullshit. They are so stupidly wrong, and it gets me mad because you're ruining the perfect science. Stop. Don't do it. I know that there are tons and tons and tons of channels out there that talk about astrology. And a lot of them have, little glyphs on the channels, and it's great, and it looks, they probably put in far more effort into making their video than I am. But it's all a show. The reason I'm doing this for you guys, and the reason why I'm even telling you where I've come from, not only because someone had requested it, but also because, I mean, I'm not perfect. I am by far not perfect. But if you're looking for answers and you have no idea where to look, think of me, because at one point in my life, I was exactly where you are, struggling to find answers. And to be honest with you, a lot of the answers that I have found are not satisfactory. I don't want to say I don't appreciate them, but I don't like them. I don't like the fact that my Mercury is besieged, and I don't like the fact that both of my feminine planets are just beat the hell up. But I have some really, really good redeeming qualities. I think everybody has redeeming qualities in their chart. And I know some people also will be like, well, it's just a chart. Yes, it's your chart of your life. You have to accept the bitter pill that some things are set in stone and some things can be changed. Not as many things can be changed as you think, but you get some degree of freedom. Anyway, without my friend, and the reason why I'm even here, from her, I would be one of those fools asking stupid questions about Black Moon Lilith and Pluto and how the 12th house is for mysticism, which is totally wrong. I guess the key takeaway to this video is, I mean, I'm here to help. I know I come off as an asshole sometimes, but like I'm of the opinion that after reading and studying, and people just like come at me with their like wall eyes like this, and their tongue like drooling down their chest, like, I think this is a good idea to include all of these asteroids. It's just like, and I don't know everything either. I learn a lot. I learn a lot. I try to. Everything that I do with this, it's a culmination of the point from where I was just an idiot and didn't know any better to actually de-idiotifying myself to learning and becoming educated so that I can explain this stuff to you. I know this is really long-winded chat at you, but I just kind of wanted to give you that kind of foundation for why I do this, where I come from. I'm not some prophet sent from the heaven. I'm not. I'm just a guy who happened upon the right people at the right time and asked the right questions. Hopefully this channel and this video will be of some use to you. And I think tomorrow I'm going to show you guys my planetary images of the forms of the planets Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury. I wanted to do a Saturn one, but I'm not gonna. Alright, until next time, guys.